it's Kelly with Pins and Needles Kits, and today I'm going to be working on the Store It reversible nesting baskets. And it's a really cute pattern. We sent it out in box number 2, so let's get started. Okay, so there's enough fabric in the kit to make 2 of the small size baskets, and they're reversible. So we're going to be using this great fabric from Cotton and Steel. And so we've cut out 2 pieces the same size, and just follow the instructions, and then we cut out a bottom for the basket, and it's a circular bottom, so we're going to be cutting out another piece from this. We also cut out 1 piece of decor bond for the bottom and 2 pieces of decor bond for the fabric pieces. Next, we're going to be ironing the decor bond to the back of all of our fabric pieces, and you just use a hot iron and a little bit of steam with that to get it all ironed on. After that, we're going to cut the bottom out of our fabric. So I'm going to fold this in 4s and place the template on here, and we're going to cut that out. All right, so once you've cut out your all your pieces and fused the decor bond on, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to sew the seam of the short side of the strips. Okay, so I put my fabrics, both my fabrics, right sides together, and did my seam. And then you're going to open it up and press it. And I don't have my iron here handy, so I'm just going to kind of finger press right now. And then the next thing that you do after this is you want to fold this in half, and you're going to mark where that fold is, right there. Then you're going to open this up, and you're going to match that mark with your seam allowance, like so. And so then you'll make a mark here, and you'll make a mark right here. Okay, so you'll do that on both pieces of fabric. And then the last thing that you do before you get ready to sew is you're going to mark 4 areas of your circles. Okay, so that way we have places to match everything up when we get ready to sew it together. Okay, so next what we did was we matched up the 4 marks with the circle and the outer tube right sides together. So if you look inside here, you can see. The other thing you want to make sure of is if you have a fabric like this that's directional, meaning that you have a definite top and bottom, you want to make sure that you put your marks on the bottom so that your fabric is not upside down when you sew it together. So I'm going to sew the bottoms on these 2 tubes, and then we'll finish up. So we're going to sew the bottoms to the tube, and in her instructions she has you sewing from the bottom like this and sewing all the way around. When I sew a circle, I would rather sew it from this side, and what I've done, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I've just kind of clipped into my seam allowance every so often, and that allows that tube to curve around that circle easier. Okay, so if you sew from this side, you're going to have less chance of this fabric gathering. If you look at the one that I just did, see I've got a little pucker right there because I sewed it from the opposite side. So I just kind of wanted to show you that the difference in doing that. Now when you get this on the machine, it's a little bit awkward because this is stiff, so you're just going to kind of flatten the tube, slide this underneath the foot, and lower your presser foot. If you will sew with the needle stopping in the down position, if you have that option on your needle, and then each time you stop to adjust your fabric, lower your needle again so that when you pick up the presser foot, you're not going to move and lose your place on your fabric. Okay, so just a little tip from years and years of sewing experience here. So see, as you sew, it's easier to get a smoother line there. And what you want to do when you're sewing this is you just want to go a little bit at a time and then stop and adjust your fabric. That way you're not getting way ahead of yourself and making a mistake. So once we have our 2 tubes sewed together with the bottoms, we're going to take one and have it turned right side out, and we're going to slide that inside the one that's wrong side out, matching up our seams. And we're going to sew around the top of this. We're going to leave an opening, about 2 to 3 inches so that we have enough room to turn the edges. All right. Okay, so I've got this all clipped together, and if you don't have any of these kind of clips, they're awesome. I love them because sometimes when you use a lot of pins, I tend to poke myself. So these keep you from, you know, bleeding all over everything. So I'm going to start sewing around this edge, and on your sewing machine, if you can take off the tray table or the accessory box so that you have this free arm open, it makes it so much easier to sew a circular object, because you can put it around, and I've got too many clips here. You can put it around that and sew it. What we want to do is we want to leave an opening, so I'm going to just start and then go around, and I'll stop about 2 to 3 inches from where I started. So I've sewn all the way around the edges. I've started here, went around, and came back to here. What I like to do also is where I start and stop is to sew on into the seam allowance, and that way when you turn this, it makes that turn a lot smoother. Plus, it strengthens the fabric right there, so that you don't rip your fabric when you turn it. So I'm going to turn this, and then we'll top stitch and be finished. Okay, so I've turned it right side out, and then I have pressed my seam there, and then clipped where I'm going to have it open where I turned it from, and then I'm just going to top stitch. And when Brittany did her bag, she did a decorative stitch. I'm just going to do a straight stitch so it's nice and quick, and then we'll be finished. All right, so I got the top stitched and the top turned and pressed, and I just wanted to show you a quick little trick for pressing something circular like this. So I'm going to take this one that Brittany did, and I'm going to lay it down, slide my iron in it, and then I'm just going to start turning the fabric while I press. And because that decor bond, sometimes when you use it, it leaves a little bit of crinkles in the fabric, but this will help with that. And the other thing that you can do is use some steam, and that will get the wrinkles out as well. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.